Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to the PLEA webinar on Elements of Professional Excellence. This webinar highlights the importance of having a meaning to your professional career. It is an inspirational webinar and will address your questions like why and how to your career choices. So let's begin this webinar by watching motivational speaker Simon Sinek's video.
I call it the golden circle. Why, how, what? This little idea explains why some organizations and some leaders are able to inspire where others aren't. Let me define the terms really quickly. Every single person, every single organization on the planet knows what they do 100%. Some know how they do it, whether you call it your differentiating value proposition or your proprietary process or your USP. But very, very few people or organizations know why they do what they do. And by why, I don't mean to make a profit. That's a result. It's always a result. By why, I mean what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief? Why does your organization exist? Why do you get out of bed in the morning? And why should anyone care? Well, as a result, the way we think, the way we act, the way we communicate is from the outside in. It's obvious. We go from the clearest thing to the fuzziest thing. But the inspired leaders and the inspired organizations, regardless of their size, regardless of their industry, all think, act, and communicate from the inside out. Let me give you an example. I use Apple because they're easy to understand and everybody gets it. If Apple were like everyone else, a marketing message from them might sound like this. We make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? Meh. And that's how most of us communicate. That's how most marketing is done, that's how most sales is done, and that's how most of us communicate interpersonally. We say what we do, we say how we're different or how we're better, and we expect some sort of behavior, a purchase, a vote, something like that. Here's our new law firm. We have the best lawyers with the biggest clients. We have, we always perform for our clients, do business with us. Here's our new car. It gets great gas mileage. It has, leather seats. Buy our car. But it's uninspiring. Here's how Apple actually communicates. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? Totally different, right? You're ready to buy a computer from me. All I did was reverse the order of the information. What it proves to us is that people don't buy what you do, people buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. This explains why every single person in this room is perfectly comfortable buying a computer from Apple. But we're also perfectly comfortable buying an MP3 player from Apple, or a phone from Apple, or a DVR from Apple. But as I said before, Apple's just a computer company. There's nothing that distinguishes them structurally from any of their competitors. Their competitors are all equally qualified to make all of these products. In fact, they tried. A few years ago, Gateway came out with flat screen TVs. They're eminently qualified to make flat screens for years. Nobody bought one. And Dell came out with MP3 players and PDAs. And they make great quality products, and they can make perfectly well-designed products. Nobody bought one. In fact, talking about it now, we can't even imagine buying an MP3 player from Dell. Why would you buy an MP3 player from a computer company? But we do it every day. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. When we communicate from the outside in, yes, people can understand vast amounts of complicated information like features and benefits and facts and figures. It just doesn't drive behavior. When we communicate from the inside out, we're talking directly to the part of the brain that controls behavior, and then we allow people to rationalize it with the tangible things we say and do. This is where gut decisions come from. Sometimes you can give somebody all the facts and your figures, and they say, I know what all the facts and details say, but it just doesn't feel right. Why would we use that verb? It doesn't feel right, because the part of the brain that controls decision-making doesn't control language. And the best we can muster up is, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. Or sometimes you say you're leading with your heart, or you're leading with your soul. Well, I hate to break it to you, those aren't other body parts controlling your behavior. It's all happening here in your limbic brain, the part of the brain that controls decision-making and not language. But if you don't know why you do what you do, and people respond to why you do what you do, then how will you ever get people to vote for you or buy something from you, or more importantly, be loyal?
I think, this video was self-explanatory, and I wanted to have this as the start of this session, because this is no, a legal session which I'm taking. This is more of an inspirational session. And I was wondering, as a professional, when I started my career, that how to get inspired. What are the ways in which I can really make what I'm doing meaningful? And that time, some way, somehow, I came across these kind of inspirations, and I started attaching everything with a purpose. For example, the purpose of having this, if you start it inside out, if you think why first, and then how, and then what, then you get a better answer to this kind of session, and many more meaningful things which you can do rather than going outside in. This is Simon Sinek. Just as an introduction, he's an author as well as a motivational speaker who is talking about his golden circle approach, where he's explained, what to do. Start with why, think of creating a value proposition with why, answering why, then how, then what. And I'll put that into perspective for a legal professional. When you start your career as a lawyer, or you start studying law, what you thought, what was your purpose, if you had one at that time, or even later on, like me, people like me who did not had, frankly speaking, a purpose when I started doing law. But later on in my career, I got the purpose, and I started moving all my, knowledge and skills according to the purpose which I had. So this brings me to the 5 most important elements of any professional, life, the professional excellence, how I call it. The most important and first amongst that is importance of failure. And I am sure you would be surprised that why we are talking about failure at the start of an inspirational session without even talking about the big things like success. No, I think this is the most important thing. Because, as said in the words of J.K. Rowling, who is the, is famous or infamous for the failings which she had in her life and how she made it big, the writer of, Harry Potter. She says that it is important to live without failing at something. It is impossible to live without failing at something unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default. And what it means, I think you understood the meaning of it. It's self-explanatory. It means that you should have the bigger goals in your life, even if you think that I may or may not achieve it. And then even if you fail, that's fine. But if you do not even have, substantial goals in your life, that means that you are anyway targeting towards a failure. Bill Gates also says something about failure. He says that it's fine to celebrate success, but it is more important to heed the lessons of failure. Very important. When you don't look at failure as you are bound to, just be misguided by some of the successes which you have and may not achieve the meaningful things which you may be targeting for. And similarly, somebody says that importance of failure is that it reminds us that we can do better, be better, and achieve more. And all these things, which many big speakers have spoken about. I would just like to put all these things into perspective and talk about people like Abraham Lincoln, who kept failing at all intervals of his life unless he made it big to become the president of the United States. People like Amitabh Bachchan, he has, at a crucial juncture of his professional career as an actor, he failed miserably, and then he came out People like Stuart Broad. I'm a cricketer myself, and I know many of you would be liking cricket being an Indian. You might remember the 6 sixes which were hit by Yuvraj Singh of the English bowler Stuart Broad. And that was a big failure at the start of his career, being a young bowler. And we all know that, rest is the history. And he came out of that, and he, made a career for England, and he kept playing for quite some time. So all these things speak much about failure, and that's something which has actually taught me a lot of lessons in my personal life. So how I look at it in two ways: one, that you fail at some point in time of your career or in your personal life for sure, and you keep failing at you know uh, at your career or in your personal life every day. Those failures might be small or big, but all those failures matter a lot when you look at achieving meaningful things in your life. And all those people who have taken learning, as I was talking about Bill Gates, who is one of the famous IT professional who has created many of the products, the IT products which are going to make history. He According to all that, all those people who have taken learning from failures have done wonders in their professional life. What it gives also is that it creates an opportunity for all of us to introspect, tighten all the screws which might have become loose, commit again, and go for win, for to achieve all those things which we may be eyeing to achieve. And if we don't pursue bigger goals, then, as I said, you are anyway bound to go for failure. This is also important, that we look at failure as something which gives the visibility to the extent to which things may go wrong, and prepare for all those things in the next attempt when you go for it. So this is how I look at failure. And this is something which is very important. Many of the people, they don't take failures, and at times they crumble and they destroy themselves. They don't achieve the potential which they had to achieve. So that's why very, very important that don't be, just don't go haywire if you have failures. Don't be disturbed. Just put your mind into whatever you are doing. Try to introspect, see how you can make it better, and then attempt it again. The second important thing which I'm going to talk about, and there are 5 things which I thought that can summarize and just to simplify the things. These 5 things actually encompass everything related to a professional's journey, especially for a lawyer's journey. So first and most important thing is the failures and how to take failures and what to do when you encounter failures. Second thing is personal branding, which is again very, very important. We have learned and we have seen, product branding at a length, and many examples are there which talks about product branding. Things like Surf, which is washing powder, has become a brand in itself. Things like Colgate, which is a toothpaste, has become a brand in itself. But we rarely focus on personal branding, which is very important, and it's all the more important for a lawyer to make a personal branding, because you're going to sell yourself. And it actually becomes a differentiator in whatever field you choose to practice in. It actually gives you an opportunity to stand out in the professionals in which you are competing. And let me put this into perspective. When we apply for a job, say a lawyer is applying for a job, and there is a job requirement that the candidate should be from tier 1 law colleges in India. And that becomes a differentiator. Okay. Likewise, if you have practiced all those skills which you require to be a good lawyer, for example, if you have, seen the journey of lawyer like Ram Jethmalani and, Kapil Sibal and Jetmala and all the others who have practiced in this area, you will see that they have mastered their craft and they have created a brand of themselves. And all the other professionals as well. If you talk about people like Harsha Bhogle, in cricket commentary field, he has made a brand of himself. There is no name better, or rather to say not many names better than Harsha Bhogle in the trade which he's practicing. Likewise, as lawyers, as legal professionals, we have to see that how we are actually creating a differentiator for ourselves to be a brand in itself and create our personal brand. There's another saying which is very important, and we should actually understand that today's commodity is today's differentiator is tomorrow's commodity. So say when you start your career and you see that I am a lawyer from tier 1 law college, and then you start your journey, you are a differentiator amongst many hundreds of the candidates who might get selected. But tomorrow when you go for the interview, you see that there are all the candidates coming from tier 1 law colleges in India. And there it becomes a commodity again. And there you have to create a differentiator again with the value which you create out of the skills which you have acquired and the knowledge which you have gained, where you stand out and you become a brand in itself, and you create a value for the trade which you are practicing. So as we say, that you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And that's something which again is related to personal branding, where you make it one that will set you apart and reflect who you are. So that's again, for a lawyer, it is something which is very important, as I said, because you look at that as something is one of the factors where you create your own brand. Personal qualities like humbleness, empathy, excellent communication skill, analogy, leadership, etc. All these things create a personal brand for you. The third and the most other integral part of it is agility. And agility is nothing but an interplay of your knowledge on legal field, the legal and statutory knowledge, the culture and communication of the organization and the people with whom you are working, and the process and technology with which you may have to work. So when you have the interplay and a balanced approach towards this, then you get the real agility. And agility means definitely the speed of execution with efficiency. But at the same time, you also have to see that how you are aligning that with the culture of the organization and the people with whom you are working, the communication models which you have and how you are utilizing that, the processes which you have in place, and the technology. So for some time, I also worked in Integrion, which is an LPO, and there I learned the importance of processes and technology. There were many processes in place which had a way of working defined, that this is the way you have to work. There were timelines to deliver things, and I had, as an in-house counsel, I had never thought about a timeline to deliver things like an agreement, that what you really need to focus on, the kind of timeline which makes it very important, not just for your review, but also for delivery. Then the technology which you have, how you have to make sure that you are managing your contracts, you're managing your compliances, everything on the technology, how you make use of technology to enhance your service delivery. All those things, when you combine, that makes the agility work, and that brings the agility for lawyer. So just having the legal and statutory knowledge in today's world may or may not help you achieve the agility which you are required as a lawyer. And many a times it happens when I am working with a law firm, and then we give them an assignment to work on, and sorry to say, there might be colleagues from law firm side joining this session, but at times the delivery is in a very crude form, talking only about the law which is there, and may or may not be thinking about the business environment and the culture in which I have to actually apply that. So it definitely talks about the legal provisions, but it may or may not actually provide the solution to the legal problem, or you can say the commercial legal problem which I have at hand. And then when I apply that with the processes and technology which I have, and the culture and communication which I have, then it produces the result, and it produces the result go and argue that based on the legal analogy which you have in court of law, and that's it. No, but that's not the case. In today's world, the expectation from a lawyer has increased. You have to be innovative. So you have to be innovative, you have to think out of box, you have to apply all the technology available with you to make use of it. And that's the way you are going to be a complete legal professional in delivering what you are delivering. So definitely you have to be innovative. You have to look at each transaction as an opportunity to do better and provide better solution for time to come, not just take that as one of the transactions, but look at the bigger picture, look at that as a broader problem and how you provide solution to it. Say, for example, we encounter a lot of employment related matters. There might be some fraud related issues, there might be some disciplinary issues, and then the HR team might be stuck in taking a decision whether to terminate them, whether to demote them, whether to take a disciplinary action, whether to give a warning to them or not to do anything. And then they're just wondering what to do. And then those problems keep on coming to legal team and they keep on replying to that. And then, the whole life of a legal professional working on employment matters is actually revolving around all these transactions which are happening. And if you look at those transactions, it's going to increase your work and at the same time, not give any vision to the company that how to tackle these kind of problems. Whereas if you look at all those combined and look at the theme which are derived from that, and think of, if you're working in a bigger organization, think of technologies like AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, have an analysis done on all those issues which are rising and look at the problem areas. You would be surprised to know that there might be some of the things which you may not have thought. For example, that all those issues may be arising from, say, a supply chain team only, say, one specific business line only, or maybe arising from a bunch of business lines or a bunch of teams, which may be problematic. So instead of tackling all those problems as transactions as and when it comes, you are not just doing that, but at the same time you are also providing a solution to the company saying that, hey, these are the areas where you have more problems, so why not run some of the awareness sessions with them? Why not have a better term of employment signed with them? Why not have more of disciplinary and policy related sessions taken with them where they understand the value of it? And then also have the exemplifying actions taken against some of those issues which are coming there. So that's the importance of being innovative and applying innovation in the work which you are doing. Many of people as lawyers may also be thinking that, what, and there were many debates which I participated as well, that are these things going to touch legal profession or not? Artificial intelligence, machine learning, all these things, there are the technologies which have come, which have marked their beginning. They are going to stay and they will stay for longer. So what is important for us as lawyers is that we embrace them early and then we harness the benefits of that. At the same time, it is important, and I will draw your attention towards some of the things which have already happened in few of the companies. For example, Infosys has made a tool which actually, and Infosys being a service company, ITS company, they have many agreements which they sign, and they have many NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, confidentiality agreements, which they keep signing on daily basis, numerous of them, hundreds and hundreds of them, and they can't afford to have all their legal resources and expensive legal resources being directed towards reviewing those. So what they do in those cases, they have actually came up with a tool which can review all the NDAs based on some machine learning and artificial intelligence, and that can work throughout the year, 24/7. It does not need any holiday. It can work even on the off work timing, and the efficiency and speed of execution is quite high. So many of the people who were earlier reviewing those NDAs, non-conflict, non-disclosure agreements or simpler agreements like that, are not in business at that company anymore. They may have not hired those people to work on the increased work, or they may have laid off few of them. I have no idea about it, but this tool is there to review. And this is the truth of the time, that the time has come when you have to just not focus on these technologies and make use of that, but also try to enhance your knowledge, keep yourself updated, have the continuing education program as an integral part of your profession, and try to be on top of the pyramid. Because there is one thing for sure, that the decision making, especially in the legal world, is definitely going to stay with human beings. That to an extent cannot be done as efficiently as it is done by human, by the machines. So that's something which is definitely going to stay. So my advice to all those budding lawyers and the people in profession is that, point number one, embrace those, harness the benefits of those. Second, that keep yourself updated, keep learning, and then be on top of the pyramid, so that you are not wiped off when there is a time which comes where there would be mass layoff of all those legal professionals who may be working in lower of the pyramid on all these repetitive jobs. So that's about the innovation part, and I will move to leadership part, which is the most important thing. Again, the last but not the least is leadership. And many people have this myth again, that leadership is only for the leaders. No, that's not the case. Leadership is, and as is spoken by McGannon, that leadership is action and not position, which means that it is at all the levels and in any role which you are playing. So what are the important ingredients of leadership, and what you need to really do to perform your leadership role? And the most important thing is inspire action. And to inspire action, you don't need to hold a position. That doesn't mean that you can inspire action only when you are the managing director of a company. And let me give you a personal example. This was during my days at Integrion, where I joined it as as a manager, I think, of the contract drafting team. And there, when I joined the team, I saw that there were many other team members who were eager to have the knowledge of contract management and contract negotiation, contract review, and everything related to contract, understanding of that, because they may be working on some other trades and they came to this team and they were working on this. What I liked about that team is that they had the eagerness to learn, but at the same time there was some inspiration required, where you can just instigate and lighten that you can touch one of the minds, and that will actually instigate action for others and keep inspiring. It's a chain reaction. You inspire one, that one will inspire a few more, and that's how it keeps growing. So inspiring is very important, and that's one of the key ingredients of leadership. You have to keep inspiring people to action. And second thing, which I already spoke about, is that it can be done at all the levels. That myth is that the myth is not there anymore, that you can under you. No, that's not the case. You can inspire people above you, you can inspire people below you, you can inspire people at your same level, anything. Because inspiration doesn't need any position. You can inspire at any level where you are. And the most important thing is the third thing, that walk the talk. How you can inspire at all the levels? By walking the talk, by being the leader, leading by example. So you have to, people will not believe only on your beliefs, okay? And that doesn't make you a better person, but how you behave, that makes you a better person, and that will actually inspire others. So if you are doing what you're saying, that's something which is going to inspire others. Then comes the delegation part of it. Very important ingredient of leadership. If you are a true leader, again, at all the levels, any level, inspiring people by walking the talk, you have to at times delegate and then get out of the way. don't interrupt. See how somebody is working on the task which you have given, have constructive feedbacks being passed to the people, to your colleagues, to your seniors, and see how this is done. And again, delegation is a task which is not something which happens only upside down. It can happen even upstairs. It can happen at the same level. If you see in this picture, you have two athletes who might be equally good. They are passing the baton from one to the another and saying that now my journey is over on this assignment, this work, this case. And now you have to take it further from here. So that's about delegation. Then building relationships. As a lawyer, very, very important how you are building your relationships with the law firms, with the practicing lawyers, with the business executives in your company, with the leaders in your company, with all those people who are either helping you or for whom you are working. That makes it again, a bonding which helps you create value as a leader. And then, of course, the last thing, but not the least, is creating results. So by doing all these things, inspiring action at all the levels, walking the talk, delegating, building relationship, what you are doing is that you are bringing results for your team, for your company, for yourself. And that's the most important thing. If you are doing all these things, but not able to bring results, then these are all futile. Okay, and that doesn't make any sense. So these are 5 most important elements as I perceived in my career, and I've seen people, who are considered to be thought leaders talking about these integral elements of being a true professional, or rather to enhance your excellence as a professional in any career whatsoever, and very, very important for a lawyer, for sure. So this is a small depiction of how our career grows, and many people keep asking me that how you look at yourself 5 years from now, how you look at yourself 10 years from now. And when I started my career, I had some abstract answers which are more like putting things into perspective and giving them the exact what to say, materialistic answer, like I see myself being the head of legal, or I see myself as the managing director of the company, or I see myself starting a law firm, or I see myself being the senior counsel in Supreme Court, etc. But that's not how you have to look at your career. If you look at your career, that's very abstract and very materialistic and very narrow outlook, I would say. You have to look at, and this is something very interesting which I found out and thought of sharing with all of you, that when you start your career and you have a journey, that journey looks something like when you are trekking a mountain. When you start, you think about the height, you admire it. We see Himalayas, we admire. We sometimes feel that, oh, I wish I could achieve that. Sometimes when you see that, yes, I have some of the skills required to kind of scale that that mountain, you think that, can I? And then you think, oh, you have this little bit of self-doubt. You think, I don't know how to do that. Some point in time when you gain more confidence, say according to this table, if you have say 40% of the confidence coming to you, skills and acumen, and the experience, you say, I might. Then you think, yes, I can. And you actually do it. You scale that, you go up. Then there is a desire to stay there. When you actually, scale some height on that, when you are at some of the, when you are midway on that mountain, you think, I should stay here. When I have climbed this, I should stay here. You keep going up, and then you say, I will. Then there is a time when you say, I must. And at time, many of us, they achieve it and they say, yes, I achieved it. The most important thing after that, which we may forget, is that we also have to come down. So it's very important that at that stage we sustain that, we be there, but we be there with humbleness, we be there with empathy, we be there with the desire to help others scale it, come to that level. And that's what you actually spread, and and that's what actually defines you as a true professional, where you have the passion of continuous excellence. And that's very, very important. And this is the way you can look at any of the things which you're doing, any action which you're doing in your profession. Let it be eyeing to become a judge of a court, let it be eyeing to become the head of legal for a company, or eyeing to become the managing director of a company, or to start a law firm. All those assignments which you will go through, you have to go through the same journey, and you see that this is the way you are going there. It's very important to be there, to keep yourself in the journey and keep continuously growing towards it and not leaving it at all. Someday you will achieve it, and then the most important thing, as I said, becomes how to sustain that and how to be humble and empathetic towards other, and how to help the society achieve that as well. So as I had promised, I wanted to relate all those purposes which people actually thought of sharing with the video which I had played, and the concept of purpose and the concept of that golden circle which I spoke about at the beginning of it. So all these things which I can look at, this is more looking to be more like the how and what of it. And then I would request all of you who have shared and spoken about these reasons for them, to again reflect back and see that what is the answer for your why you want to do that, what is the real purpose. So somebody who is saying that I want to enhance the relevance of a girl in legal profession and what they can do, and show to people that this is again a reaction to, you can say, what you are doing or how you are doing it, rather than the why of it. So why could be that there was something happened in your life at some point in time which gave you an impression that girls are no good, or to enhance the and to enhance the image of a girl in a legal profession or any profession. You can do that just not by taking law, but by doing many other things as well. And in fact, you would need to do many other things apart from taking up legal profession. So you need to think a little broader. You need to see that how you can make it more relevant to the why of it. Maybe you can look at that, see that video again, and think of the why for you. This bigger purpose for which you took up law. What is something which you need to do? In doing that, you also satisfying this. Some of the people, somebody wrote that they want to have this protect their innocence from frivolous allegations, be the savior of the society. So again, these are the things which you do when you are thinking of what and how. Think of why again. Make it more relevant to what you're doing. Somebody asked this question that how relevant or relatable alternate career options should be to main career goals. I think there is no main career goal or alternate career goal as I see it. As I said, if you have the purpose in your mind, all these myths would be very clear to you. And that's why I started with purpose, which is the most important thing. And let me share one more thing with you. When I started my career, and that's why in the beginning, I wanted to draw your attention towards the fact that I have never worked in a court. I have never worked in a law firm. I started with my career with corporate legal. I'm still with corporate legal. This is something which I enjoy doing, and this is something which I eyed for when I was still in college, because I wanted to do something which is a mix of law as well as business. I had great liking for business as well, and being a business professional. So this is how I looked at it. So for me right now, being the head of legal for a company, IT's company, is not the main goal, or being in the leadership decision-making forum where I have to take decisions on a case which is related to fraud, or a case which is related to maybe taking tough decisions during COVID-19, is no, you can say, alternate career. So this all related to each other, and that makes me do what I do right now. And if you think your purpose is not aligning with what study you have done, or what you are going to do, or what you're doing in your life, professional life as a career, this is a high time that you make it relevant, you think about it, and think of the ways in which you can make use of the skills, knowledge, and experience which you have gained and then achieve something meaningful for your life. Because life is just not about the 5 years of law which we do, or just not about the 2 years of practice or 5 years of practice which we might have done. So with this, I would end my conversation here.